fire is only about a minute or two old. We heard the fire department being dispatched. It's 96th Street and Madison Avenue between Madison and Park. They're saying the fire is on the 9th floor. Appears to be an apartment building. The fire department, as you can see, is just getting the first ladder up there. They, at this point, are trying to get a couple of hoses run to the hydrants, but a massive fire, big fire coming out of this 9th floor window. Unknown if there's anybody inside the apartment, but the first calls from the fire department were, they were saying they got numerous 911 calls, reports of heavy flames coming out of the 9th floor. So we quickly hopped over here, and indeed, you're looking at it's only a one-alarm fire at this point, but it may go up to more depending on the fireproofing of the apartment inside. But massive flames coming out of that fire, out of that apartment there. 96th between, I believe they said, Park and Madison. Fire on the 9th floor. No word of any injuries at this point because the fire department is barely just have arrived, but they're going to have to get a couple of hand lines in there. Hopefully it'll be contained just to the one, we're assuming it's an apartment because just taking a look at it, yeah, it looks like it's an apartment type building, but maybe it's a gas-fed fire, maybe a break in the gas line. With that much flames, that is unusual, so there must be something feeding that fire. But again, the fire department just arrived here. Numerous 911 calls. They actually sent extra engines based on the amount of phone calls they were getting. It looks like it's about a 12, maybe 14-story apartment building, 96th between Madison and Park.
Joe, do you know what the actual address of that building is?
No, they hadn't given it yet. All they did
on that awning down there.
Yes.
Get the close house to.
All they did was dispatch between, and now you can see it is spread.
It's spreading to another window, obviously.
You know, also, Joe, that 96 is the that heads to the entrance to the FDR. So just traffic-wise, that's an area to avoid right now.
Correct. Well, it's far enough away from the east side. It's more like Park and Madison. Now, if you notice, the flames are starting to die down a little bit. That means the fire department has at least one hand line up there. The white smoke, that is a great sign because the fire department is in there fighting it. It means they have several lines probably established. In the darkness, I don't know if you can see, but a firefighter did climb up the ladder there to possibly check for anybody that may be at the window to try and rescue anybody, but we have not heard any updates from the fire department. They went to what they call a 1077, which is a high-rise fire, because as the 1st Battalion Chief showed up and looked at all those flames that we just saw coming out the window, he called for extra help.
Again, if you're just joining us or you're just tuning in here, this is the 9th floor, correct, Joe, of what seems to be a residential building, 96th and Park. And within just the past few minutes, we've seen those huge flames die down. Now we're seeing white smoke, a good sign at this point.
Also,
correct.
A firefighter, Joe, there we see someone on the ladder.
Right, imagine that. He's some 9 stories up into that smoke, but I guess his first job is to get up there, get some of those windows broken, to get the heat out of what is presumably the apartment, and or double check to see if anybody's up at the windows.
We'll make some calls on this end to make sure as far as injuries. Joe, thank you.
Got another ladder there to the right, Joe, working it as well?
Correct. They will. What the first thing they do is try and get as many of the windows open, and they literally go up there with the axes to try and get the smoke and heat out so the firefighters from the other side can actually come into the apartment building. But you can see the heavy flames have been knocked down, and that's white smoke coming out means they have a lot of water on the fire. At this point, it may only stay at the one-alarm fire. A lot of these buildings, they have good firewall protection.
Joe, can you pull out for just a second to show us what traffic is looking like on 96 there?
Sure.
Or are you over Park?
Yeah, we're just south of the building to get an angle on the fire itself. But 96th Street will be closed in the area, at least for the next half an hour. But it looks like they may have gotten up here quickly and gotten the fire knocked down.
And once again, if I may ask my producer, you said, what did you say about injuries, Eric? Oh, I didn't know if we had heard on this end. Any word on injuries, Joe?
No injuries so far. I'm just looking, getting some additional information. They're saying, let's see, it's 96th Street, but it's only a one-alarm fire at this point. It is 65 East 96th Street is what they are saying, right near Park Avenue. They transmitted the 1077, which is the high-rise fire, for heavy flames out the 9th floor windows. They are saying it's a multi-dwelling, which means it's a large apartment building. That's fire talk. So everybody coming in, they know they have to get people out of the building. The fire department, that's going to be their primary concern, is to make sure nobody gets trapped by the smoke. And that's why they put up those ladders to get up there on the 9th floor to try and break some of the windows and get all that smoke and heat out so the firefighters can actually come down the hall and attack the fire.
Looks like this is a, hard to tell, but it looks like this is a pre-war, older type building, Joe?
Yes, that's what it looks like, and a lot of those have the heavy cinder blocks and good fireproofing in between the apartments so they can keep it confined to the one apartment or maybe, one right next to it. It will not get up into the walls like some of the business types where we see it run along up through the eaves of the building. The fire department hasn't given an update yet, so we'll keep you updated.
All right, Joe Bierman, we thank you for that. We're going to continue to monitor this. Good news, though, is it does look like the flames are out. White smoke. The situation seems to be under control here at 65 East 96th Street. We do have a reporter on the way to this fire, and we'll bring you more on it coming up at 6 o'clock.